Today in the B block, cannabis for athletes as medication for pain relief, cannabis as an investment opportunity, and in an extreme moment, you're about to see cannabis, marijuana, changing the mind of a retired titan of American sport who used to demand total abstinence from the drug. Now, former NBA player Al Harrington has invested in the cannabis industry, and his venture and his motivations are captured online. It's an engrossing short from Uninterrupted, which includes this conversation and a moment of conversion for the former commissioner of the NBA, David Stern.
Did you ever feel like the NBA would prescribe marijuana, but it would be once all the tests are done?
It isn't about prescribing it. It's about deciding to take it off the banned substance list because it's no different than other subjects that may work or not work with particular players. Right. I'm now at the point where personally I think it probably should be removed from the banned list. You've persuaded me.
That's huge.
If you told the fans that if the players rubbed it on their knees, they wouldn't have to take a night off, that would really sound over the top.
That's the marketing right there.
The reason there's no pressure to do this is that the big pharmaceutical companies haven't figured out their way to make money yet on this. But when they figure it out, there'll be clinical trials by the boatload, I promise you.
16-year NBA veteran Al Harrington in conversation with the former commissioner of the league, David Stern. And Al joins us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Hey, I got to ask you, when David Stern says you've persuaded me on an issue that to some defined a little bit of his era, the way they disciplined about marijuana, what did that make you feel like?
I mean, if you see my reaction, you see I kind of sat up. I couldn't believe he said it. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple of discussions in the past about it, and then that interview was like purely organic. And when he said that, it was just like, wow, it drove home the point that I was trying to prove.
Why is this such an important topic to you? I know you've got an investment in the business that we'll talk about. Personally, you find this very important.
Well, I mean, number one is just because, you know, the way it affected my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? And she's a senior citizen, you know, dealing with pain, you know, constantly. And she has all these prescribed drugs that just does not help her. And then I was able to allow her to try, you know, medical marijuana in a state where it was legal, and it did wonders for her, and it pretty much changed her life. And then not only her, even myself. You know, I've had, you know, numerous surgeries throughout my career. I've had a botched knee surgery where I had to have 7 different surgeries, and you know, I was one of those guys that took, you know, anti-inflammatories for 7.5 years until I found cannabis. And I was able to use cannabis, and obviously without all the side effects, you know, there's a lot of clinical trials of, you know, the side effects of all these prescribed medicines that they're giving us, but medical marijuana doesn't have any of those side effects. So I was so happy that I was able to find that, and it's pretty much changed my life and allowed me to live a better quality of life.
As you look around,
and my grandmother.
Yes, and very importantly, as you look around at how various states have changed their laws, both on medical and in some cases increasingly so-called recreational use of the drug, what's your opinion of the speed of change and where we're headed here?
Well, I think it's happening pretty rapidly. I think it's going to happen. You know, I guess, you know, the government is waiting to figure out how they can tax it. But, you know, I think the biggest thing is just like, you know, when you look at the map, you know, there's 20 different teams that play in, you know, states that allow medicinal marijuana. And I don't know any job where, you know, a job can tell you or tell you that you cannot use medicine to deal with different ailments that you're dealing with. So, you know, I just wanted to raise that awareness, and, you know, I just wanted to open it up for, you know, discussion. And I feel like, you know, once it gets on the table, then we can kind of force our government to start doing the proper testing and different things like that, so we can start figuring out the levels and different things that, you know, that medical cannabis is actually medical.
Yeah. You've got over $3 million invested in your operation. You're a cannabis entrepreneur. How's business?
Business is good, man. You know, it's hard, though. It's not easy. You know, it's a lot of, you know, challenges, you know, every day, you know, with regulations. Because you got to remember, you know, these states are, you know, they start in one place and then, you know, they grow as the industry grows. So there's always a lot of different changes. And, you know, for us, you know, I'm happy we're small enough that we can pivot and, you know, make the changes that we need to make so that, you know, we can kind of stay ahead of the curve and always stay compliant.
Players still in the league, guys you played with, now that they know you're in this line of work, what's been their reaction when they chat with you?
Well, most of them want to invest. But, you know, a lot of times I tell them, you know, let's hold off and wait. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure, because I don't ever want to put those guys in harm's way, you know, by them investing in a business that, you know, is still federally illegal. And then a lot of guys, you know, reach out to me and just say, you know, we really support what you're doing because, you know, they really feel like they see a lot of the benefits of medical marijuana and they would love for it to be, you know, taken out of the CBA. So a lot of them are just really encouraging me and telling me to keep pushing forward, and any ways that they can support me, you know, they would.
Yeah, benefits for the pain and benefits from the green leaf on the black bottom line. Al, wish you the best of luck. Thank you for visiting with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Bob.